I think interaction and like communication between the teacher and I work really well. I think the way they communicate their work to us, so like they'll let us write down the notes, get us like process, and then they will give us like they'll come to us and be like, oh, are you okay with the material? Like interaction, ask us any questions. They'll kind of set us on a pathway, like so your next step will be. It kind of works well that way. You're able to know what you want to do next instead of what they want to do. It's like really good communication skills.
I like one-on-one because the teacher and you can have a good discussion and get through the material that you need and have any questions and answers dealt with.
Find one-on-one time with a teacher is important because you don't feel like there's nobody around you, so you can't really feel like if you get the answer wrong, anyone's going to laugh at you because the teacher, like, they're adults and they're not like us, so they know much more than us and they're here to help us with what we need to be helped with, so yeah.
Our teacher, like, if she does a lesson, last recess she'll let us stay in. If maybe like we didn't get anything from that day, she would help us learn it.
In grade 8, I had Mr. Martone as my teacher, and he really influenced like the way communication. He was definitely big on that and like having good interaction with each student. He really understood like what their outside of curricular activities were, their workload, how fast it takes them to get done. I think that their learning strategy was really to be interactive with each and every student.
Our teacher puts us in groups, so like if maybe you don't understand something, someone in your group might, so you can always ask your group member. You learn like to collaborate with everyone and like you get to use everyone's ideas.
I was really engaged in learning in my grade 10 math course because my grade 10 math teacher was the coolest guy you'll ever meet, and he made learning fun. You felt like you were in that class for 20 minutes. It felt so short. You wanted to stay in there. You had no idea you were learning because he kept the mood light, but the instructions were still given. But you didn't feel like it was a task. You didn't feel like a teacher was telling you to work and that you were being told to go to school. You wanted to go in there.
Well, I've been teaching a long time, so I've seen a lot of students who have different learning methods and how they learn, and the pace is different for every student. So that's something that we have to keep in mind, that they don't all understand the question in the same way. So this inquiry-based learning is great for this kind of learning because the child comes in where they feel comfortable and we run with that. And I think that's important, is as long as we're seeing progress, the child is successful, but we only see progress if we know where they're starting from.
I feel I have a different way of learning because, I don't know, there are a lot of people that are not confident at all with their answers and some that are like overconfident. Like it's kind of like a mix between. Like public speaking is one of my strengths, so you can't feel overconfident with your things, otherwise if you mess up you might not think it's a big deal. But if you're really nervous, sometimes you don't do as well.
I've been thinking about that one, and my strategies are just to get it done without thinking about it that I got it done, because then I wouldn't have so much pressure on me when I'm doing it. Because sometimes when I'm working, I get a little bit of pressure when there's, like when she says that there's only 5 minutes left or a time limit, and I get really, I have a lot of pressure on me.
But the strategies that help me learn the best would be when real life examples are given of when what we are learning is going to be useful in our lives. I find it extremely easy to understand concepts and to apply them when I know what I will be applying them for in the future, why I will need them. When it just seems like something that is completely useless to my academic goals in the future, I have trouble understanding why I need it, which means I have no interest in learning it, which means I end up not learning it as well as I could.
I like working in a group in social studies and religion, but I don't like it in math because sometimes I have different ideas to get the answers solved.
I learn by arguing with people, so like I don't learn from just like taking notes or like the usual thing. Like I like to like argue with a teacher and like discuss it more so than just being told things, because I remember by talking. Like I'm a very like oral learner, so like if we're like having a conversation, I'll remember it more so than just copying down notes or like doing practice questions and stuff like that. I think like the debating helps me learn just because I am a very oral learner. So I think it gives me the chance to like process things in my head while being able to talk about it. Because I remember things I say and I'm told as opposed to things I read or write down.
I'm definitely interested in speaking French. Nobody in my family is French, but I don't know, I just always found a love for that language. So I am actually in a French speech competitions. So I hope to be doing that until I get up to high school, and I just want to stay in French.
Well, my 100% goal is to go to college. Because I've been asking my friends since I want to be a massage therapist when I'm older, I was asking if I needed to go to college, university, or could I just find it anywhere. My dad sometimes used to get me massages from this certain place in Ajax. It really communicated to me, and now I'm really good at massaging people's shoulders for some reason because it just makes them feel better, and I want the world to be happy, not all sad people making bad decisions.
Well, we ask them what they want to learn about in a broad topic. So for example, we're doing biodiversity. So it's the child who brings the question, and usually they will ask a question that at a level that they can answer it. And so we're not giving questions that are above them or below them. It's where they want to be. And through conferencing, we see if they have actually chosen a good question for them, as opposed to my trying to find a question for them. Last term, we were doing electricity, and we tried something like this where they came up with an I wonder question. But we hadn't done any prep work on what's a good question. What kind of small questions do I have to answer to get to that big answer? And they went flat. All their presentations were flat. And when we looked at them again, we said, this isn't really where we want to go. We really didn't answer any big questions. We gave names of people who discovered something, or how fast does electricity travel? Well, they told me how fast it traveled, but why or how or can we change that never got mentioned because they didn't know how to look at a big question.